Morning, everybody. My name is Rick. I'm CEO of Findacure, and we are a UK-based rare disease charity trying to work as much as we can with rare disease patient groups to help them grow, to professionalise, and really achieve their goals. And a big part of what we're trying to do with that is to hold events like this, to give patient organisations the chance to sit in the room, meet and interact with people from industry, from academia, from the pharmaceutical space, and really to nucleate conversations around rare diseases, and particularly today, drug repurposing. So why rare diseases, I suppose, is question one, and hopefully I'll do this and it'll mean that we're all on the same page. In the EU, a rare disease is defined as a condition that affects fewer than 1 in 2,000 people. So that equates to about 3.5 million people across the UK. Now, hopefully, we can all agree that doesn't sound so rare. Of course, the problem comes when we start breaking it down into different individual conditions. There are about 7,000 or so conditions. We'll hear lots of different estimates of that today, no doubt. But regardless, they affect the whole range of different systems in the body. They have a really diverse impact medically. But what they are united by is quite a common experience for the patients. And it's this common experience which we think necessitates us looking at rare disease as a single collective entity. So patients generally experience a prolonged diagnostic odyssey with multiple misdiagnoses along their journey. There are issues in securing paid employment or actually accessing education, as they should have the right to do. And obviously we also have this high burden on the young, with many rare diseases being genetic, about 75% of them affecting children, and unfortunately about 30% of those children will pass away before their 5th birthday. And this is obviously further exacerbated by this drastically small number of treatments for rare conditions. So when you get a rare diagnosis, what you'll often hear is that there is no treatment, no hope of treatment, not much point going to find someone else with the condition that you have because you won't find them, and it's a very isolating, scary, and bleak outlook. But what that actually generates is a surprisingly and impressively informed patient population with the power and the determination to deliver change for themselves. And that's what we're trying to work with and make the most of at Findacure. So essentially, patients hear that there's little research or treatment development. They see little hope of change, but they respond to that to deliver that change themselves. And that's leading to this influx and growth of rare disease patient social entrepreneurs. And we're seeing a huge increase in that in the area right now, and we'll hear lots of examples of that across the day. So at Findacure, we're trying to work with these people and trying to get to a point where we have a world in which all rare diseases have treatments that have been made together with patients for patients. And that's a really crucial part, having those patients in the heart of research programs and even care pathway development. We really believe that this will help us get better, more effective treatments, but also accelerate treatment development so that we get to the place that patients need to be more swiftly. And hopefully improve the workflow of people in academia, in industry at the same time. What do we do as an organisation? Well, one thing is empower patient groups. We think this summarises it very nicely, but it can occasionally sound like a bit of a buzzword. So I'm going to break that down for you. What does that mean? We want to help patient groups to build a charity. We want them to go from a small group of people around a kitchen table or a few people on Facebook to understand what they practically need to do to turn that into a full legal entity that can operate on a national or international level. We want to help them understand how they can provide support to the patients and families that they're representing. What can they do to practically make a difference to the lives of those people? We want to help them get ready to be involved in research, to understand the way they can capture data and share it around to really drive research and get more people interested in the condition that they're working on. And finally, and really importantly, we want to help them raise awareness about their specific condition and hopefully about rare diseases in general. The next thing we do is try and build a rare disease community. That's what we have in this room today. And the aim of that is to accelerate that treatment development and clinical pathway development as well. So our conferences, like today, are ideally there to create opportunities. We want to showcase excellence in the rare disease field. We want to highlight the potential of repurposing to deliver treatments to people who need them. But fundamentally, we want trying to give people opportunities to meet those outside of your field, for a patient to talk, level playing field with a professor, for people in industry to feel they can chat to people in academia, to clinicians, and to patients themselves, and really have that level playing field where everyone shares their perspectives. We want to give you guys a chance to share your stories and your work. So we run our lightning talk sessions where you can propose a talk to us when you sign up, and suddenly we give you 5 minutes on stage in front of this lovely audience to tell us your story. And we really want to create opportunities to build that rare disease community, for patient groups to learn from one another, from all the different sectors in this room, which are represented by this diagram, to learn from one another and build collaborations moving forward. Because ultimately that's going to deliver that improved patient care and more effective treatments. And just to point on this, we really do think everyone in this room is represented on this diagram. We know we've got lots of people from patient groups, but people from the consultancies and support services that play a huge role in this area. Biotechs and pharma, obviously, but academia and clinicians too, and they all do play together to deliver this improved patient care. Okay, so what's the topic of today and why are we here? So drug repurposing is something we've talked about for quite a long time at Findacure, and something we really believe has huge potential for rare diseases. But first, we have to know what it is, right? So, at its most simple level, drug repurposing is just recycling, okay? It's just taking a drug that we already know about and finding a new use for it in a different patient population. Hopefully by collecting really good scientific data, and hopefully that data will be generated in clinical trials. It's basically trying to increase our efficiency and effectiveness of using the drugs that are already out there, and that can't be a bad thing. Why does it help though? Why is it so beneficial? Basically because it's faster, it's cheaper, and that should hopefully be good for rare diseases. Obviously in rare diseases we're working with a bit of a difficulty. The patients are obviously quite rare, dispersed. We don't necessarily know so much about the condition when we start. So it can only help us if we can speed the process up in other areas. Why is it faster and cheaper? Well, firstly, we get rid of de novo drug discovery. This sounds kind of exciting, it's nice science, you get great papers, but at the end of the day, it takes a damn long time to find a new chemical entity and see what it does in people. It also costs a lot of money. Remove that step, we speed the process. With a repurposed drug, we know something about the safety profile and the side effects of that drug, and that creates opportunities for us. If it's a generic drug, we've got a long history of human use, probably in lots of different patient populations. It could be in pediatrics, could be all in psychology, could be in a whole age range of different people. And that means we know how it affects people in different conditions and different ages in their lives. And this potentially can reduce the requirement for early stage clinical trials. Some of that safety data you collect early on can be gathered and used through the existing wealth of information out there in the literature and in the clinic. We also know about the pathways of action for the drugs that we're working with. And what this means is when it comes to trying to select a candidate for your favourite condition, you've got some really nice ideas and evidence for repurposing opportunities. So rather than screening 1,000, 10,000 different entities, you can try and be really smart and screen tens or hundreds, really again speeding the process and lowering the cost. And this all creates nice opportunities for a way in to that clinical pathway for drug repurposing in rare conditions. So repurposing really is an ideal opportunity for patient group or academic-led collaborative model for drug development, and it's something we'll hear a lot about today. And really, repurposing can also create new commercial opportunities for industry. So it's something we're seeing lots of different groups thinking about now, and hopefully we'll see lots more of these repurposed drugs driving towards market over the next couple of years. An example of a project that we're involved with at Findacure, which kind of nicely highlights this academic-led approach, is one called MCDS therapy. And those of you that have been to our conferences in the past few years will have heard a bit about this. This is a purely academic-led repurposing trial for a really ultra-rare bone condition. So what is MCDS? MCDS stands for metaphyseal chondrodysplasia type SCHMID, which I'm getting quite good at saying now, which is a relief. It's a really rare condition, obviously, leading to short stature, but we have disproportionately shortened limbs, bowed legs, which you can see in this x-ray here, and also flaring of the end of the long bones. And this can cause quite a bit of pain for the individuals, as well as an unusual gait. Particularly in later life, it can be quite discomforting. It's caused by a mutation in a gene called collagen 10. And what's basically been found out by extensive preclinical work and really work to understand the basic mechanisms of this condition is that a generic drug called carbamazepine has potential to restore bone growth and bone form within the MCDS models in mice, which is a really interesting outcome. It's the kind of condition where you don't expect a drug could make a big change to the patients as well. So what we're involved with is a collaborative project to try and run the first in-human trial of carbamazepine to test its efficacy, its effect in patients living with MCDS. This, as I say, is a really international and academic-driven collaboration. We can see Newcastle University, who are kind of the lead group on there, but people from Guy's and St Thomas's. Melita is here today to tell you more about this, collaborating with groups in Italy, Antwerp, we even have Australia involved as well, all coming together to try and move this trial forward in this rare population. The aim really is to try and develop a low-cost treatment for a rare skeletal condition that's going to alleviate the pain and bone malformations that patients are living with. We want to do this, hopefully, by forming this strong, collaborative, scientific network around the world and trying to work really closely with patients to deliver the trial that they need and make sure that it's a drug that they need and benefit from as well. We're trying to really drive this academic repurposing route forward and show that we can get this through, hopefully, to approval without the need of interaction with traditional pharma, just to show it can be done, and really taking it right from the early stage proof of concept bench work to the bedside. And hopefully this could be a bit of a new paradigm for the way we can develop orphan drugs and inspire more people in academia to drive this kind of thing forward and not just stop when they get a good idea, but actually try and move it into the patients themselves. So it's something we're quite excited about. And it's progressing okay, which is fantastic news. We've got a full detailed protocol established now, fully approved, ethical backing all in place, which is great, and recruitment is ticking over quite nicely. Guys at St Thomas's, I think, have over-recruited already, which is fantastic news, and we're nearing the point there where the first patients will be dosed quite soon. So they've already gone through their baseline data collection, which is fantastic. And I think EU recruitment should be opening this year. So we're beginning to move towards the point where we're starting to recruit across multiple different sites. We've also had fun trying to learn how a UK university can act as a sponsor for an international clinical trial, which is a big challenge and something they've had a lot of fun engaging with, but we've managed to get over those hurdles now and really moving forward. So we're quite excited to see where it goes in the next year, and hopefully this time next year there'll be a little bit more information to tell you and maybe the odd little result we can share, who can say. Thank you very much and enjoy your day.